My partner said I should fight for her attention while supporting her pottery dreams, so I walked away and left her facing eviction. I never thought I'd be the one footing the bill for my girlfriend's dream venture. Yet there I was, covering her studio space rent while she chased her artistic ambitions. At 28, with a stable career as a software engineer, I had the means to help Sophia pursue her passion for ceramic arts. Our relationship had been relatively smooth sailing for 5 years, no significant arguments or breakups before I started financially supporting her. We met during a community pottery workshop in Seattle, where I'd gone to decompress from my coding work. She captured my attention immediately with her creative energy, and soon we were sharing more than just clay-covered workstations. For a couple who'd been together half a decade, you might expect we'd weathered some serious storms. But honestly, we hadn't faced many challenges until recently. I wasn't always her financial backbone. Initially, we both maintained steady incomes, me with my programming job and Sophia teaching art at a local college. About 2 years into our relationship, she expressed her desire to establish her own ceramic studio and gallery. I encouraged her to follow her dream, assuring her we'd figure out the logistics. The beginning went according to plan. Sophia had savings and secured a few small grants, but those resources quickly evaporated. The studio's renovation costs exceeded estimates, and equipment purchases drained her reserves faster than anticipated. The gallery space she rented in the arts district became both her workspace and mounting financial burden. When she fell 3 months behind on rent, she finally asked for my help. I didn't hesitate. I wanted to support her vision and believed in her talent. Moving her operation to my apartment wasn't feasible since the space requirements for kilns and pottery wheels would have violated my lease terms, so began my role as her unofficial patron. Everything seemed manageable until I noticed subtle changes in her behavior. Her studio hours lengthened considerably, and we sometimes went entire weeks without meaningful conversation or time together. While I understood creative immersion, I believed maintaining connection was essential for our relationship. Last Tuesday, I left work early and drove to her studio, hoping to coax her away from her pottery wheel for a much-needed break. We hadn't properly seen each other for almost a week. Upon arriving, I was greeted by her assistant, Mia, whose expression soured visibly when she recognized me. That was my first indication something wasn't right. When I found Sophia, I asked if she could wrap up for the day so we could spend some quality time together. She initially agreed, but as she prepared to leave, Mia interjected, suggesting that as the studio owner, Sophia shouldn't leave before her assistants. Though framed as playful banter, the underlying message felt territorial. What shocked me was Sophia's response. "If you want my company that badly, maybe I'll stick around longer." I couldn't believe she'd dismiss our plans so casually. Maintaining composure, I reminded her gently that we hadn't connected properly in days, and since she'd finished her work, perhaps we could enjoy the evening together. Her reply cut deeper than I expected. "I'm enjoying all this attention. Maybe you should compete with my assistants for my time." Though she laughed it off as a joke, her words stung. Competing for my girlfriend's attention when I was financially supporting her dream felt deeply disrespectful. I gathered my belongings and informed her she could enjoy her time with her assistants while I found my own enjoyment after slaving away all week to pay her rent. I expected her to follow me or at least call, but all I received was a text message claiming my behavior was rude and disrespectful to her colleagues. She made no acknowledgement of her own actions or how they affected me. This incident forced me to reevaluate everything. After a weekend of reflection, I decided I couldn't continue supporting someone who placed me second, despite my significant contributions to her life and career. I contacted her landlord and explained I would no longer be covering the rent payments. They were welcome to address the matter with the actual tenant. I hadn't anticipated such swift action from the property manager. That Thursday, I received multiple messages from Sophia demanding to know why I hadn't paid her rent and why she was facing eviction. She called repeatedly, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. Eventually, I blocked her number and social media accounts. She wanted games. I chose to walk away. The barrage of messages from mutual friends indicated her professional world was crumbling. She had relied too heavily on my support and underestimated how resolutely I could detach when disrespected. She'd taken me for granted. And now reality was setting in. The aftermath weighed heavily on me, too. I questioned whether I should have approached the situation more maturely through conversation rather than decisive action. But the casual dismissal of our relationship still rankled, and I needed outside perspective on whether I'd overreacted or if her behavior justified my response. A week passed with me ignoring all communication attempts from Sophia or her friends. Then came the turning point that confirmed I'd made the right decision. Sophia appeared at my apartment door late one evening. Fortunately, I had the security chain engaged and opened the door just slightly. When she attempted to force her way inside, I kept the chain in place. She demanded explanations for cutting off financial support without warning and accused me of childish behavior. Ironic, coming from someone resorting to intimidation tactics. I explained calmly that she had asked me to compete for her attention, but I chose instead to remove myself from a situation where I wasn't valued. Her response was disturbing. She became physically aggressive, reaching through the partial opening to grab at me. I backed away quickly and closed the door as her pounding and shouting continued for 15 minutes until I threatened to call the police. This frightening encounter revealed Sophia's true character. For the first time in our relationship, I realized I didn't know what boundaries she might cross when desperate. The situation deteriorated further in the following weeks. I began noticing her presence everywhere, outside my apartment building, at the coffee shop near my office, watching from her car in parking lots. Self-preservation instincts kicked in, and I started traveling with colleagues and friends for safety. Through careful observation, we confirmed she was following me daily from home to work, waiting nearby until my workday ended, then trailing me home again. When confronted by myself and two friends, I expected more threats or aggression. Instead, she broke down crying, begging for reconciliation and acknowledging she'd taken me for granted. She claimed to realize I was the only one for her and that she'd been foolish to risk our relationship. The apology might have affected me had it not been paired with weeks of stalking behavior and previous threats. I informed her clearly that I had moved on and that her actions made me feel unsafe. I requested she stop following me and warned I would involve authorities if necessary. Unfortunately, the situation required legal intervention. Sophia continued stalking me and attempted another forceful reconciliation. Thanks to a quick-thinking friend who called emergency services, she was arrested when she became physically threatening. I filed for a restraining order, an exhausting and emotionally draining process, but necessary for my safety. I've since relocated to a new apartment and taken measures to keep my address private. For now, she seems to be respecting the legal boundaries after being released on bail, but I remain vigilant. This experience taught me valuable lessons about relationship dynamics and self-worth. I recognized how easily financial support can create unhealthy power imbalances and how important it is to establish clear boundaries. I learned that someone's true character often emerges during difficult circumstances, not comfortable ones. At 28, I still have plenty of time to find a partner who values my contributions and respects me as an equal. While I don't regret supporting Sophia's dreams initially, I now understand the importance of maintaining independence and ensuring mutual respect in relationships, regardless of who provides financial support. Looking back, my decisive action in walking away protected me from further emotional manipulation and potentially escalating abuse. Sometimes the healthiest response to disrespect isn't more conversation, it's creating distance and establishing firm boundaries. My story serves as a reminder that investing in someone else's dreams should never come at the cost of your dignity or safety. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. Your support helps us continue bringing you engaging content.